All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Tusk and Tradition. It's the playoffs. This is what you asked for. This is what we're going to be. You're going to be playing meaningful games in December, all the way into January, and whenever this runs out. Hopefully, we got a few more games in front of Alabama. But we got to get through this one. Win in advance. The playoffs are still kind of new. It's fun. You really don't have. This is the first time Alabama's been in the 12-team playoffs, so a lot of newness to this. Even playing on a Friday, that's new to Alabama. So we're just gonna I talked about really early in the season, we played Missouri, and we played at 11 a.m., and I was just like, it's a factor to think about, because it speeds everything up. I was listening to Kalen DeBoer's press conference yesterday, and he was like, today might be Tuesday, for everybody else, but it's Wednesday for us. It's Wednesday in the way we prep and the way we go for a game week, because everything is sped up a full day. But yeah, Alabama, Oklahoma, part 2 in this season. Kalen DeBoer is our head coach. We were 0-2. We've never beaten Oklahoma in the regular season, and so that continued this year. But we have beat them in the postseason and playoffs, so here we are. But yeah, I'm not super concerned playing there. Not because I'm doubting their fan base, but I was just kind of thinking more about weather and climate. It should be in the 50s, clear skies. So it's not like this. We're not playing in Ohio, where we're going to have some snow. We're going to have to be able to rely on our O-line and run the football. So that's good. We shouldn't have a problem with the weather, wind, all that. It should be a good night for football. It's kind of like a Friday night. Tyson said it best. He's like, it's just like being back in high school. It's a Friday night. He had a pretty funny little press conference the other day where they asked him how does he prepare before a game. And he said he loves country music. He listed all the Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen, and then he said that he likes to watch an episode of Seinfeld before a game just to calm down. So that's funny that you're starting more about watching some pretty dry, humorous sitcoms before he goes and hopefully balls out on Friday night. But yeah, getting into the game, the way I feel about the game, think about it, is pretty similar to the video I already made the first time I played Oklahoma. Now, neither team's going to show up to the exact same thing because that's just losing football. But it's the same two teams still. So it's not like either team's throwing the playbook out, or not. I think both sides will look, hey, what worked in round one? What didn't work? How do we want to change what worked so that that works again? If that makes sense, you're not just going to line out, okay, that worked the first time, let's go ahead and do it again, because both teams are going to counter. So, it's going to be just X's and O's trying to scheme what they do. Still have a great defense. When we played them originally in the regular season, they didn't have their best D lineman up front, so they got him back. But injury report looks pretty good for what it can for Alabama right now at this point in the season. Jam looks like he's going to be able to go. Josh Cuevas looks like he's going to be able to go. LT Overton is going to be out. I think he might be out for the year. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But, so those guys, that's good news getting them back. I think Josh Cuevas will play a big role. I think he's a big target for Ty. It's a big body, tight end, can go up and get the ball, runs, blocks well, so he's good in the run game. We played them the first time. We outgained them on the run game by a whole lot. So look for that again. Hopefully we can do it again. We didn't run the football at all. Actually, ran it for negative yards for Georgia. I think their defense is pretty comparable to Oklahoma's. I said when we played Oklahoma and lost, and the video I made after that might be the best defense we played all year. And Georgia looked pretty good. 1A, 1B, you can assign either one of those to either one of those teams. But they have a really good defense that we have faced. It's really easy to say that first round, they didn't make the mistakes we did, and that's why they won. Yes, but they caused those mistakes. Them getting pressure on Ty caused to make a really bad throw that they took to the house on a pick six. They made a great play on special teams. They knocked the ball to Ryan Williams and his returning punts. They did things that made us have errors. Now, if we play a clean game and let's say we're a little more secure with the ball, whether it be throwing or just holding on to it, who knows what happens in that first game? Maybe if that kick before halftime goes in, and who knows? They got a pretty stellar kicker, so if this comes down to going kick for kick, don't love that for us. It's funny enough, the lines kind of swung back and forth. I think when it first came out, it was 1.5 to Alabama, and then did a complete slide to the other side, or I think it went 1.5 Oklahoma won, and now it's back to Alabama right now, probably where it's going to finish at just a 1-point favorite. So that's pretty much as dead even as you can get. I think the over-under was 40.5. I mean, I don't bet or anything, but it's fun. It's a talking point. I think the over. I mean, I'm not going to spoiler alert what I'm going to talk about later in this episode, but I think the score is going to be 24-20 Alabama, so that puts you over. Won't be shocked if it's under. I mean, let's say I just don't believe in either offense enough to score the 30 points. Alabama's defense looks pretty good, and we know what Oklahoma's defense, and so I just don't. I think let's say one team dominates. Let's just say for our show, our fandom, let's say Alabama dominates. Alabama's dominance might look like 13-6, but we'll finish the game. We dominated that game. That might what be. It might be a 17-3, 17-3, or 17-6, whatever. It could be that low-scoring game. I don't know. I think enough teams will make some plays where it might be in that 20s range. I think both teams can be in the 20s, but I think lower 20s. To Alabama, it's going to be like you saw the Auburn game. Not so much Georgia, but kind of the Auburn game. Georgia too, but I'll talk about a different aspect. The Auburn game, Auburn made like 2 or 3 big plays. Where they got mobile and they finally we lost our either contain or coverage down the field, and they made a big 50-yard plus play. That can't happen against Oklahoma. We can't give up those plays where they make something. When John makes something happen on the run and he hits a guy 40 yards down the field for a walk-in touchdown. That can't happen. We can't survive too many of those. I think over one we probably really won't be able to keep up with that. Other thing kind of relates back to Georgia and the first time we played Oklahoma. We can't keep giving them the ball on our side of the field. We gave the ball to Georgia a bunch on our side of the field, and the first time we played Oklahoma, we gave them the ball a bunch on our side of the field. That can't happen. I'm not saying we have to play perfect, clean football, but we got to play winning football. There's a difference. There's a difference between winning football and being perfect. Perfect's impossible. But winning football is let's try to at least win the turnover battle. If we're gonna let's try to win that. Let's keep it to a very low to hopefully none. Let's not make mistakes and have bad punts. Let's not give up big returns on kickoff or punts. Give the ball on their side of the field. And I like us if we can do those things. When we played Auburn, I said the same thing. Let's just not give them the game in instances. Let's not give them free turnovers. Let's not miss kicks. Let's not have blown coverages, which we had a few of those, but we didn't really turn the ball over that much, and we didn't miss kicks. So hats off to Talty. So that's kind of I feel the same way for this game. Let's not give them the game. I like Alabama. I know Nick Saban said it doesn't matter, but I totally believe it's true. It's hard to be the good team twice because the other team there's a mental and a revenge and a let's get more pumped up for this game. You might not like when I say that, but it's true. These players know what happened on the field when they beat us in the regular season. They were trying to take pictures on our logo. They were spitting on it. They were doing all that. That's got to be talked about. They brought it up to Kevin DeBoer in a press conference this week, and he's like, didn't know that happened, but I'm going to tell the team. I'm like, bro, don't worry about it. Team knows. They already know. They saw it on Instagram just like all of us did right after the game. It's there for sure. That just plays a role in how you play the game. That's off. That's not extra no. That's just a little extra thing. If you didn't have enough to get pumped up for in a round one away playoff game, something's wrong with you. But that hopefully that helps because I think it's just gonna be some good football, and I'm excited. I just can't wait. It's fun to be in the playoffs. I think being an Alabama fan, you feel spoiled a lot. There was a time when I was in high school where it sounds horrible, and it is horrible, and I wish I can go back now and enjoy it more. But we're going to the championship. We're playing the championship. That's where we go. We're Alabama. We're playing the championship. And I remember we played Clemson when we lost 35-31. I believe that was 2018. And I remember thinking that morning, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to watch my team play a championship tonight. And I'm a really big Alabama fan. I've never been, just a regular Alabama fan, whatever. I've always been a huge Alabama fan. But there was a point, I guess, with Nick Saban being spoiled. I never really thought I was. People always say, no, I'm not. I love Alabama. I did truly love Alabama football. But I remember that morning, I was like, we're playing that championship tonight. Whatever. And I wish I could go back and just enjoy it just a little bit more. But, it's fun. It's fun to have a tradition, history that's really rich. But I'm fired up Friday night. All that to say that now, here we are, I'm fired up to go play in this playoff game. Looks like everyone's fired up on the team. They're all ready. I think it's going to be a really good night. And then, let's just see what happens. Everyone's doubted us this whole year. After that Florida State loss, everyone kind of wrote us off. Let's just go see what happens. Just go play ball. Go have fun. A lot of things start to get uptight and scary when you put a little pressure on yourself. But just go out there and let's sling the rock, let's sling the football down the field, let's just go have fun. Let's run the football, let's see what we can do. Let's take care of the football, let's be smart, let's be, Nick Saban always said, play with emotions, but don't be emotional. That's fully what I expect out of Friday. We don't talk about enough is Kalen DeBoer, how lucky we are to have Kalen DeBoer. Look around college football. I mean, there are other good coaches, but I can think off 2, maybe 1 coach I'd rather have. I'm talking like a perfect one I'd rather have than Kalen DeBoer. Might be just Kirby Smart I'd rather have. I don't even know if I want Lane Kiffin over him. This is just getting on a little bit of a tangent, but I just keep seeing his name pop up in everything. The Michigan job, Penn State job, all these all these different jobs keep opening. Kalen DeBoer's coming to us because he's not happy at Alabama, or Alabama's not happy with him. That's not true at all. Kalen DeBoer is a very well polished coach. I can think of first of all, he's a great record that people try to poke holes in. He's a great record against winning teams, and he loves the big game. He wins the big games, so he's got all that going for him. We're better on the road this year than we were last year. Everything is trending up. Recruiting is good. You want to take something small. After the South Carolina game, one of South Carolina's one of their coaches was talking to Keelan Russell. That's one of our third string quarterback who's going to be a star for us in the future. And he saw that. I just walked on the field and pulled him aside and was like it was definitely a private conversation, but I assume it was something like, what he's doing, right? He's trying to talk you up to get you to come here, and then you see Coach talking to Keon, or he was like, "Yeah, Coach, I get it. I'm here. I'm with you." And they walked on the field. Like that's a mindset that's really well polished. Understands what's happening. He broke that up. Who knows what happens? We live in a college football where anything can happen overnight with transfer portal. So just that little conversation getting broken up might change the whole trajectory of that player's career, where he wants to go, where he stays. So just this small stuff like that. That's a really well polished coach who understands football and understands the current day of it, how it works now, just how everything is NIL based and transfer portal based, and so I'm happy to have him. I was happy to see that he came out on Sunday, and I think he got posted at AL.com first, and he just kind of reiterated his commitment to Alabama. How he loves being here, he loves the support of the president, the AD, the fans, the tradition. He loves being at Alabama. And then again on his first press conference this week, they asked him "Are you going to coach at Alabama next year?" A lot of sarcasm because of that statement. And how I think everyone knows Stan's getting thrown around, so they laughed when he asked that, but he doubled down again into that. So I'm just grateful to have him. I think he'll have us ready to go on Friday night. It's going to be a really big time, and I like Alabama. So we'll make another video after that game. No matter what happens, hopefully we'll make a video talking about preparation for the Rose Bowl versus Indiana. But roll tide, get this one first, and then I keep saying back half these videos are basketball. I know they're really quick, but football is going on right now a little bit more deeper in the playoffs. But basketball team played number 1 Arizona. Fortunately, I guess I used that word. Fortunately, go to the game. Wasn't a fun game to go. That's where the unfortunate part probably comes in. But I got to go support the boys in Birmingham. That's where I live. So that was fun to go to the game. First half played great. Shot the ball well. The crowd was really into it. And basically a home game here. And then second half, I think they came out kind of 18-0 or 20-0 run, and the game was over. Those guys are really good. Yet again, the problem we've seen all year is can't rebound. Happened again. I don't know what it is. Length on the court, effort. I mean, everything kind of plays a role. Box a man out, simple fundamentals that I think we just didn't get done. But yeah, they went on an 18-0 run. No timeout was called. Nate was asked about that after the game, and he just kind of said that he wasn't upset with the effort level. It's things weren't falling, and he says they got to figure out how to right the ship when things aren't going well. And I understand that. We're not playing in the playoffs. This isn't March Madness. If it's March Madness, you might have seen Nate coach a little different way. But you kind of take the non-conference for what it is. We're playing all these insanely hard games to get us ready for SEC conference play, for postseason March Madness. And so when things aren't going well in this kind of game, I'm not saying it's a meaningless game. This is a resume building game, but let them figure it out. Basketball, the way basketball game works and the team works, everyone's kind of young anyway. Everyone's sophomores, freshmen, because that's just how people go to the NBA at young ages in college basketball. So just let them figure out. Let them see how to work together when things aren't going their way. So I don't mind that. But yeah, it ended up not going our way, and they just kind of took the second half. They owned it. I mean, it's simple as that. Rebounded us better, got to the hoop better, played good defense. It wasn't. That's about it. It wasn't like there was foul trouble. It wasn't like we didn't shoot the ball well. I thought we shot the ball well. They had good defense. We didn't commit a crazy amount of turnovers. So they played better than us, out rebounded us, scored. They won the game. But better days ahead for Alabama basketball. I'm not worried about it. But yeah, big win by Arizona over us, and we'll come back. We'll finish that non-conference schedule here in the next few week or two, and then get into SEC play. But yeah, wrap it up for me today. Roll Tide basketball, Roll Tide football, and we'll have hopefully a fun Friday night.